This is the forest primeval. The murmuring pines and the hemlocks, bearded with moss and in garments green, indistinct in the twilight, stand like druids of eld with voices sad and prophetic, stand like harpers hoar with beards that rest on their bosoms. Loud from its rocky caverns, the deep-voiced neighboring ocean speaks and in accents disconsolate answers the wail of the forest. This is the forest primeval, but where are the hearts that beneath it leap like the roe when he hears in the woodland the voice of the huntsman? Where is the thatched roof village, the home of Acadian farmers, men whose lives glided on like rivers that water the woodlands, darkened by shadows of earth but reflecting an image of heaven? Waste are those pleasant farms, and the farmers forever departed, scattered like dust and leaves when the mighty blasts of October seize them and whirl them aloft and sprinkle them far o'er the ocean. Naught but tradition remains of the beautiful village of Grand Prix. Ye who believe in affection that hopes and endures and is patient, ye who believe in the beauty and strength of woman's devotion, list to the mournful tradition still sung by the pines of the forest. List to a tale of love in Acadie, home of the happy. Part the First, Canto 1. In the Acadian land, on the shores of the basin of Minas, distant, secluded, still, the little village of Grand Prix lay in the fruitful valley. Vast meadows stretched to the eastward, giving the village its name and pasture to flocks without number. Dikes that the hands of the farmers had raised with labor incessant shut out the turbulent tides, but at stated seasons the floodgates opened and welcomed the sea to wander at will o'er the meadow. West and south there were fields of flax, and orchards and cornfields spreading afar and unfenced o'er the plain. And away to the northward Blomidon rose, and the forests old, and aloft on the mountains sea fogs pitched their tents, and mists from the mighty Atlantic looked on the happy valley, but ne'er from their station descended. There, in the midst of its farms, reposed the Acadian village. Strongly built were the houses, with frames of oak and of hemlock, such as the peasants of Normandy built in the reigns of the Henrys. Thatched were the roofs, with dormer windows, and gables projecting over the basement below protected and shaded the doorway. There, in the tranquil evenings of summer, when brightly the sunset lighted the street of the village street, and gilded the vanes of the chimneys, matrons and maidens sat in snow-white caps and in kirtles scarlet and blue and green, with distaffs spinning the golden flax for the gossiping looms, whose noisy shuttles within doors mingled their sounds with the whir of the wheels and the songs of the maidens. Solemnly down the street came the parish priest, and the children paused in their play to kiss the hand he extended to bless them. Reverend walked he among them, and uprose matrons and maidens, hailing his slow approach with words of affectionate welcome. Then came the laborers home from the field, and serenely the sun sank down to his rest, and twilight prevailed. Anon from the belfry, softly the angelus sounded, and over the roofs of the village, columns of pale blue smoke, like clouds of incense ascending, rose from 100 hearths, the homes of peace and contentment. There dwelt together in love these simple Acadian farmers, dwelt in the love of God and of man. Alike were they free from fear that reigns with the tyrant and envy the vice of republics. Neither had they locks to their doors, nor bars to their windows, but their dwellings were open as day in the hearts of their owners. There, the richest was poor, and the poorest lived in abundance. Somewhat apart from the village, and near the basin of Minas, Benedict Bellefontaine, the wealthiest farmer of Grand Prix, dwelt on his goodly acres, and with him, directing his household, gentle Evangeline lived, his child and the pride of the village. Stalwart and stately in form was the man of 70 winters. Hardy in hail was he, an oak that is covered in snowflakes. White as the snow were his locks, and his cheeks as brown as the oak leaves. Fair was she to behold, the that maiden of 17 summers. Black were her eyes as the berry that grows on the thorn by the wayside. Black, yet how softly they gleamed beneath the brown shade of her tresses. Sweet was her voice sweet was her breath as the breath of kine that feed in the meadows. When in the harvest heat she bore to the reapers at noontide flagons of home-brewed ale, fair in sooth was the maiden. Fairer was she when, on Sunday morn, while the bell from its turret sprinkles with holy sounds the air, as the priest with his hyssop sprinkles the congregation and scatters blessings upon them. Down the long street, she passed with her chaplet of beads and her missal, wearing her Norman cap and kirtle of blue and the earrings, brought in the olden time from France and since as an heirloom, handed down from mother to child through long generations. But a celestial brightness, a more ethereal beauty, shone from her face and encircled her form when after confession, homeward solemnly she walked with God's benediction upon her. When she passed, it seemed the ceasing of exquisite music. That was better than last week, but still not great. I did not attempt to add any lines this week because with the Tupelo Press 3030, there's just a lot going on in my brain. We also had another big storm. It was not a hurricane this week, but we had another big storm and we were without power for most of a day. So it's that 'tis the season. It's hurricane season. We need some hurricane season songs. Any songwriters out there? Write a hurricane season song. We need them to uplift our spirits. So my brain still a little. What I did do instead, though, knowing that I wasn't going to make any progress in terms of memorizing more lines, I went ahead and when I wrote my poems for the 3030, I in-rhythmed all of them to the section of Evangeline that I was working on. It worked okay. One of the things that's interesting is because Longfellow uses some of the same sentence constructions and some of the same words over and over, and they'll fit sort of metrically into the same spaces, the same slots in the line. It starts to become difficult because your brain has multiple things about the sun, right? Sometimes serenely the sun sank, sometimes brightly the sun, right? The sun does a lot of stuff and it's going to do a lot more stuff before this poem is over. I am slowly approaching the end of Canto 1, though, at least some progress in terms of memorizing it. It will take a while to get this poem memorized for sure. The other challenge, I think, in recitation is that even though I may know the words, I will get distracted by my own performance. That I will think, oh, I didn't like how I said that word. Or, ooh, I said that good. Oh, that was good. Do that again. Remember to do that again. And so those little conversations that half my brain is having are distracting the half that's trying to continue progress through the poem. What I do about that? Focus. Just tell my brain, hey, stop, focus. Or also perhaps more practice reciting that aren't the ones that I'm doing for the video, but maybe in front of people. But my husband has heard Evangeline so many times at this point. He's done. I don't think it was fun. It was fun to start with, but I think at week 9, he's about ready to peace out of this. But I'm still going to make him watch the video so that I can get at least one complete playthrough. Sorry, sweetie. Next week, I will probably once again continue in rhythming to Evangeline and not trying to put in new words. I think I would like to get this section down in a way that feels good, to where I not only know the words, but then I can also add emotion and a performativeness, right? Like actually perform it, a theatricality, I guess, if you will, that I would like to get that down with this section before moving on. Because it is a fairly nice, so the next section, he's going to start describing their house. And part of me does want to get to it so I can say feathered seraglio. When he's talking about a rooster, he says this feathered seraglio. I'm looking forward to that. Self-same voice as the penitent Peter heard in Days of Old or something, when he's talking about the cock crowing kind of thing. So I look forward to those lines, but they're going to have to wait. I want to get these down to a place that feels, mental muscle memory is coming forward. The other thing that I wanted to mention about the difficulty with this memorizing this poem is that there are places where his rhythm, his meter, is moving faster than my vocal cords are capable of. And the place that I noticed this the most is during the second stanza of the poem, when it's, this is the forest primeval, but where are the hearts that beneath it leaped like the roe when he hears in the woodland the voice of the huntsman. That is very difficult for me to say. My voice just wants to sort of elide over it, and it becomes, this is the forest primeval, but where are the hearts that beneath it lipped like the roe when he hears in the woodland the voice of the huntsman. And I kind of messed it up. I also go back and forth about leaped or leapt. It is spelled leaped, but shouldn't it be leapt? But then he's got a lot of places where I'm just like, you're playing with mechanics and usage and grammar. You're playing pretty fast and loose there, buddy. So sometimes I say leaped, but he is spelling it leapt. Or he's spelling it leaped, but I want it to be leapt. I don't know. What you gonna do? It is, what's done is done. So that's what I have to say about how this has gone this week. And thank you for following along on this journey of trying to memorize Evangeline. I feel like it's going to be like Jonathan Mann is a YouTuber who started doing song a day many years ago, and now he's up to like 5,000. He has continued to do a song a day, and they're just little ditties, but he posts one every single day. And so I feel like this might be kind of a project like that, where it's going to be 3 years from now, and I'll finally be getting to the part where Evangeline and Gabriel meet back up. I'm not going to tell you how they meet back up. No spoilers. I mean, you could also just go read the poem if you want to know how and when they meet back up. But yeah, I feel like this may be a few years. So, and I feel like there may also be more times where sometimes I'll make a lot of progress, and sometimes, holding pattern is good. Just keeping the poem fresh in my mind and not losing what I have already memorized, while I have to vamp and do other things before I can continue on memorizing. Sometimes that's got to be enough. Sometimes enough is enough. What you gonna do? Thank you for stopping by.